Okay, starting the match, starting the second game, starting the third game. Okay. We've been hearing everything in the world, but remember what the standard is. We announce, game 1, time in, and then state the 002, okay, to get it going. But we always tell them what game we're starting, and time in, and the starting score on that. And what we're hearing sometimes is time in, this is game 2. It's the other way around, okay, on it. So we just want to make us all sound the same. Kind of like the football head ref out there, when if there's a holding call, you're going to hear it exactly the same regardless of which game you're watching out there. It's always the same. So, what we're saying is, game 2, time in, 002, and that's how we start that game. Yes?
All right, sort of trivial, I guess, but in the back bracket, where there's only a single game to 15, do you say game 1? Do you just say 002?
No.
Do you care what we say?
Okay. There's always a
Time in.
No, on the 1 to 15, obviously, it's not game 1. It's only one game. Okay, so it would be time in, 002. Got it. Yes?
I've seen it in several different ways, but game 1, receiver ready, server ready? Do we ask that?
No.
Okay,
Because you've
but
given the
game 1.
15-second warning.
Okay, it's game 1.
But at game 1, you've already, got everybody in position. It's time to go.
Because I'm seeing it both ways.
Okay. We should not be doing that. Okay. One more.
Do we tell them that they will be swapping sides at 8 points if it's a game to 15? And if it's the third game, that they will be allowed to decide?
Yes.
Just want to make sure we're fair.
Yes. Yep. Okay, the question is, like when you're at your game, 1 game to 15, or when you enter your third game in the 2 out of 3, do you advise the players that, or remind them that we will change sides at 8 or we'll change sides at 6? And the answer is, of course, yes. Huh? I do that at the start of the starting.
Game number 2.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Okay. Let me do calling the score. Okay. Calling the score. Most all the players like a nice, quick-paced game. They don't like to wait on us. However, what we are also seeing is the score is being called before the server has even turned back around. So they've got the ball, they're walking back over here, and the ref is calling the score. They haven't even turned around at the serving position yet. And that's something that we're going to try to avoid. I realize there's a fine line between calling it too fast, which you just did, and also everybody's looking at you going, are you going to call the score? So try to get right between those, but don't call the score before the server at least gets in position. And of course you're checking the receiver to see that they are. But seeing the servers back to you and they're still walking and hearing the score is something we should try to avoid doing, or we need to avoid doing.
Within a reasonable amount of time, though.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
He's taking forever to get in position.
Yeah.
Because sometimes his partner's gone on another court to retrieve the ball,
Oh, yeah.
and they're still
Yeah.
waiting, and
Yeah, and if you got guys out shagging the ball somewhere, and give them time to get back in position, obviously.
Or if they're doing a strategy session there at the center line, go ahead and call it.
Yeah, you
Get their attention.
You guys know how to keep the pace of it going, but we just don't want to call it before the servers even had an opportunity to get back to where they need to be. Not that they're delayed, they just haven't gotten
The
there.
server is ready or should be ready. That's, as long as we follow that, then we're right on target.
Yep. Okay.
Talk about the standard timeout.
I'm out.
Standard
Come
timeout.
on.
Okay, standard timeout. So this is interesting. So when I go around and look at various matches, I see a lot of variation in how referees handle standard timeouts. There's a standard. I mean, there's 5 things you must tell the players, and in most cases, the spectators who are in the audience, and sometimes as many as 7 things that you have to tell everyone loudly so they can all hear it, and at least 3 actions that you take. And consider this your script, as if you're an actor and this is your stage, you must convey this information. There's been a timeout called by this team, the receivers or this team. You can just point. The score is, start your stopwatch, the first action you take. Click the stopwatch, this is the 1-minute timeout. You walk out to the center of the court, you stand there, and you advise the players either at this point or closer to when it's time in, you now have 1 timeout remaining, you have 2 timeouts remaining. That's the 4th piece of information that you must convey to all players. You then tell them when there's 15 seconds left. Now, that would not be a piece of information that you convey if, in fact, all the players come back to the court and look like they're ready to start again. Then you don't have to give them a 15-second warning. You just say, if everybody's ready, we'll start now. You walk back to your position at the court post and say time in. First you check if you've got line judges. That's another piece of information that you check with. If there's line judges, are you ready? No line judges, of course you skip that. Time in. Score is 002. 3 numbers. That's all you announce. But it's a standard script. I mean, so you must cover at least those 5 pieces of information.
Will you repeat in just concession exactly the order you want those in? Not explanation or anything, just say this, say this, say this.
Timeout called by this team. The score is 5-4-2.
1 minute.
Click your watch. 1 minute timeout. Walk now to the center of the court. You have 1 timeout remaining. You have 2 timeouts remaining. And you mark your score sheet. You're marking what the score is, a timeout, in the appropriate box on the timeout box. If everybody comes back like they look like they're ready to start again, you don't have to wait the whole minute. You can say, is everybody ready? They say, yes, we're ready. You walk out again to your post. Time in. The score is 5-4-2.
Now, you just said the score is. I don't say that.
5-4-2. I mean, you
Just say
announce
5-4-2. You don't say the score is. You're not asking.
it. Either way, as long as you announce the score. The score is 5-4-2, 5-4-2. Yeah.
When you announce the score, do you say whether it's server 1 or 2 after that?
No.
When the timeout is called?
The timeout was called by, you can either say by the receiving team or just point. This team, that's fine. I've seen Hoagie do that. The timeout's called over here. The score is 5-4-2. You start your stopwatch. This is a 1-minute timeout. You now have 1 timeout remaining. You have 2 timeouts remaining. Sometimes the teams are so busy getting their water or strategizing, they don't even hear you if you're going to tell them how many they have left. So you may want to wait closer to the time when you're ready to call time in, and they're paying more attention to you. Question back there? We're going to cut the questions because we only have okay, I'm sorry.
Only got
3 minutes. But I'd like to see more consistency in this.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, couple quick things to kind of almost wrap it up. Okay, time in versus resume play. Everybody knows the difference of when we use those 2 terms, right? Okay, resume play is side changes. Okay, time.
Hydration also, right? Hydration's in effect, right? What are we doing after hydration?
I'm going to let the tournament the referee coordinator will cover that at the 4 o'clock meeting, so that all refs get that.
Do we say resume play after a referee timeout?
No, that's a
Or do we say time in?
Well, if it's a referee timeout, then it's going to be a time in. Okay, so we always use time in if we're doing a timeout. However, changing sides, as we know, is not a timeout. So
They get a minute. They get a minute to switch sides.
Yeah.
So you don't say time in? Okay.
No, because it's not a timeout. Okay, the difference between that, but the reason it's not a timeout is because
They can't receive any
you can't talk to anybody who's not physically on the court. Okay, so it's not a
Yeah,
timeout.
but I still give them 15 minutes, don't I? I mean,
If they're not ready to go, they still get their 15-second warning, of course. But if they're ready to go, or when they're ready to go, it's resume play. Okay, another ones that we're seeing that's not happening is when we do that change of side. Remember to come up, server 2 was Shirley, and we put a 2 under Shirley before we take the clip off, and I'm seeing that not happen, and then people take the score sheet out, of course, switch it around and go, well, crap, you know, who was serving, what server number was it, and all like that. And, you know, so just remember to do that. You know, it's part of our handbook. However, it'll save you some heartache over the next 9 days if you'll practice that and be sure and mark that before you pull the clip.
Do we have to actually say, well, crap, or are there other phrases?
Yeah, well, don't use the other word, otherwise you have to give yourself.
Give yourself a technical foul.
And talking about technicals,
Go, nice segue.
well, game ball. Okay, control of the game ball, okay? Between games, you know what happens, the ball just goes everywhere out there. Be sure that you go fetch the ball, okay? Fetch. Right. Fetch, boy, that's it. So go fetch the ball. I don't care where you put it. Put it somewhere, just as long as you have control of the game ball between games, so that when you start the second game or the third game, you're starting the game with the same ball that they played with earlier. You know, the players, none of them are exactly around, but at least it's going to be consistent from game 1 to game 2. So, you know, get a hold of the ball, hold on to it, and we'll also keep you from having, if you were out there today, there's X40 Franklins out on the court rolling around all over the place out there, and I've seen it where those get substituted for Duras during a game, and then you got a problem. Okay, so be sure and keep control of the game ball.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Fine. Okay, one quick one that we really need to cover this, and then we're out of here.
Okay, this is just, we want to say this about technical warnings and technical fouls. Okay, now you, as the referee, you are controlling the match, of course. Just remember, you're there to control the match, you're not a dictator, okay? We don't want you to be overzealous about keeping the players in line. They're there, they're playing their hearts out, okay? Hopefully a lot of them are there because they're wanting to have fun. All right, with the technical warnings, we can give a technical warning for objectionable language used against another person, right? Or if they're going into a tirade and they're, just throwing out all these expletives, okay, we would say a technical warning is warranted, right? But if you've got a player who's missed a shot, they're frustrated, and they just blurt something out basically to themselves, but you happen to hear it. It's okay. Don't exacerbate a situation. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't create a situation that doesn't need to be created, Let the players, cool themselves off. Now, if it's a matter where they're not cooling themselves off and if they're acting unsportsmanlike, then yes, you want to do that. The other issue is our throwing of the paddle, which is a technical foul. Okay, somebody's taking a timeout. Technical foul? No. When we're talking about throwing paddles, the situation,
Jeff Warning, last year.
they're doing that, that's throwing the paddle,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, they're not frisbees like we had last year with one instance where it went 3 courts over the other way. That's
Marcia,
okay.
And you and I, we had a quick situation at Las Vegas that I saw. They were discussing, they called timeout and threw the paddle behind them about maybe 8-10 feet. And I called a technical warning on that. Technical foul. Do you remember that at
I did
TLC?
not see it, so I.
You didn't see it, but what I'm saying is,
But I know
would that be
you said it.
considered?
No.
I said some of that in our.
Demonstrate what they did. Demonstrate so we can all see
George's
what
battle.
they did.
So the guy called the timeout, and he went like that.
No,
All right, that's what I wanted to know.
Okay, sorry, we are out of time.